mathematics to happiness. So in this video, we will perform basic mathematics, which we can identify in our lives through momentum, which is effectively the calculation to increasing our existence into a state of clarity. So when I'm referring to mathematics, what I am referring to is the frequency of sound which we are existing and connecting with. Our lives are effectively an equation, and once we start to equate within the equation, we start to become aware of exactly what we are, and more so what we are doing to become aware what we are. A lot of the time we're living and just expressing emotions rather than becoming aware what emotions we are existing within. And when we are just getting, it's almost, you can refer it to as a blender or a milkshake. You know, when we are constantly just expressing, or life itself is almost like a blender. And until we come back to the components of what's inside the blender, we will only feel the constant influx of energy which we are interacting with. We will only feel like we are just being moved and shifted and around. And then we're left with an existence that is constantly interacting. We will always interact with, you could say, energy within our lives. It's the moment when we come back to and equate to the wholesome presence of which is simply is. And that itself is the power of presence. So to go back, we must understand that within this present moment lives the presence of existence. And everything outside of that presence existence is only the illumination of activity within the physical world. And that is basically everything which is interacting with us. So in saying this, what we must understand is that life itself is a constant interaction. And when we start to analyze what is interacting with our lives, we can actually start to understand what is powering this blender. And whatever we put into the blender is effectively what we are and what we are creating. You know, what we're drinking, what we're expressing, what we're feeling. And that is why the choices which we make is effectively what we drink, what we be, what we express into the world, what we are serving to the world. So what's powering the blender is our frequency, is our energy, just like a blender would. It's the elemental truth of how much power we have to generate. And through choices and through activation of awareness being the fundamental element to our existence, we can start to comprehend and understand what is in our lives in this present moment. And it's at that very point where we start to understand who we are and what we're doing and why we're doing it, is when we start to shift into the state of mind which can actually start to comprehend what is in the blender itself. And sometimes we attach ourselves to things in life which are not serving us, and effectively we are creating this composition between what's not serving us and truthfully our higher potential. And that is what is not serving us will always carry that bitter taste within us. And that itself is the existence of which we will eventually start to highlight in our lives, to start to remove that existence within within presence. So to summarize, the basic mathematics within our lives is to equate to everything which is interacting with us within this moment of presence, and starting to identify what is serving and what is not serving. Sometimes we can't remove everything at once, but what we can do is start to become aware and start to shift into the process of eliminating, and more so not just eliminating, but highlighting existence which is not serving us and replacing it with frequency and energy which is at a higher vibrating level, which will effectively equate to the additional frequency of which we are. So the more we add into our lives of high frequency doing, and at the same time eliminating the pullback and the drawback of our lives, what we will start to do is we will start to equate to a higher frequency being. And it's this very, very foundation of mathematics which will create the perfect drink, the perfect presence, the perfect satisfying being of which we are all wanting to be. And it's that very basic truth of which we can all align with.